Hey, so Jesse, my question is real simple. We just talked about it. If the JWs cannot, or the Kingdom Halls cannot survive COVID, how will it survive Armageddon?
It can't. It can't. Theoretically, it can't. I mean, think about it. If your church cannot stay open during a pandemic with a 99.8, 99.7% survival rate, what's going to happen if it was just a little bit slightly, like 98? It's going to wipe. It's going to wipe you completely off the face of the map. Now, take that to the Great Tribulation or Armageddon. How are you going to survive Armageddon when you couldn't even survive COVID?
Now, a Jehovah's Witness that's watching is going to say, "You're crazy. That's crazy." Is it crazy?
No, it's not crazy. I mean, if you could go back 2 or 3 years ago and tell them the situation we have today. Speaking of that, Alex Jones has better track record on predictions than the Jehovah's Witnesses do.
That is so funny. Alex Jones predicts the future better than the Jehovah's Witnesses.
I bet you he has a better percentage. You know,
We already know he does. Oh, anybody does, but yeah, that is so funny. Alex Jones uh, is
listen. Not only that, Charles Barkley has a better prediction rate
than the
than the
governing
ones
body of
our
Jehovah's
Bible
Witnesses. Yeah,
checkers like.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. At least he got the Milwaukee Bucks gonna sweep this series right.
Hmm.
I mean, Watchtower hasn't had anything right ever.
Wow. Yeah, like that video I did with all strikeout, 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 strikeout. Everything they do is a
Yeah,
strikeout,
everything they did, everything.
and yet they're going to
You know,
they're going to survive
yeah.
Armageddon. Yeah, when they couldn't even survive COVID.
And here's the thing that nobody considers.
Hmm.
They talk about
Hmm.
they tell you the truth. They tell you the truth. For example, let me give you an example. They say that to obey the superior authorities. So you think that they're talking about government, a nation state government.
Correct.
They are a new world order. Because if you listen to our government, the United States federal government is trying to end the mask mandate.
Correct.
But the Jehovah's Witnesses in all of the United States are still wearing the mask religiously. Go to Lowe's, Home Depot, anywhere you see a Jehovah's Witness, they're all masked today. We're going into June 2021. They're all religiously wearing the mask, the Jehovah's Witnesses. They're listening to the CDC and the World Health Organization.
Hmm.
So we're not talking apples to apples here. We think that the Watchtower was talking about the superior authorities. We thought they were talking about the nation states. No, they're not. They're listening to a corporation, which is the CDC, and the World Health Organization, which is probably in bed with the Chinese Communist Party.
And the United Nations. And so when they're telling you to listen to the superior authorities, it makes sense. Their Bible is the New World Translation, and they're listening to the New World Order. And where every single state in the nation is telling their people, you can go to church. Every state, in all 50 states, you can go to church. But if Jesus were to return today, he couldn't go to the Kingdom Hall.
Which goes to show they're not politically neutral
Hmm.
because they are actively not listening to the political leaders of the
Hmm.
United States of America in their home country. They are actively fighting against the political leaders of the United States of America.
Correct. And
I don't know what they're doing in Canada. I don't know what they're doing I'm just saying where I live in the United States. They are disobeying the political leaders, the superior authorities.
correct.
That's the danger in not pledging allegiance. That's why Eisenhower was real important in remaking the Pledge of Allegiance, because he understood there was clouds like these Jehovah's Witnesses.
Hmm.
And every little organization like that, extra constitutional organization, wants to diminish the freedoms that are found in the Constitution of the United States of America. That's why it's so important to do the Pledge of Allegiance, because we get to see where they stand, and they stand against freedom.
Yeah, they stand
The
against freedom.
Jehovah's Witnesses don't even believe in freedom of religion.
Hmm.
Given the choice between opening their house of worship and staying closed, They choose to listen to the CDC and the World Health Organization.
Correct.
They're so demonic. I mean, they are not a Christian organization.
Mm-hmm.
Given the choice between freedom of religion and staying closed,
Mm-hmm.
talk about burying your talent on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
We are witnessing with our own eyes them burying their talent.
Mm-hmm.
They said, "We knew you were a harshful slave, owner, master. And so what I did is I went and hid my talent into the ground." And they're saying that we knew that COVID is real dangerous, so we kept the kingdom halls closed.
Wow. Just like Jesus said, huh? They buried their talent because they were afraid of COVID. And meanwhile, Christians, pastors of all kinds of different denominations in different parts of the world are going to jail because they're opening up their churches. Now, name me a Jehovah's Witness that's going to jail for opening up his kingdom hall. No, it's not happening.
I gave this guy work the other day, and we were cleaning up some people in our yard. It's like 2 days' work, and he came up and he asked me, and this guy's a handyman, and he didn't have no work. He goes, "Just be 10 there, you got to be." And he does air conditioning. So I go, "Yeah, tear up units, take it to the recycler." So he gave me 2 days labor, and he had a helper. He had a crew to clean up the whole yard and haul away everything and recycle everything. And the guy was an ex-con, and I asked him, "Hey, how did you hook up with Victor?" And he goes, and my friend is a preacher. He has a church on 3rd Avenue, you know.
Yeah.
And he goes, when I got out of prison, I was at my mom's house during COVID, and I went walking around to see if there's any churches. He went down to the Catholic Church, the Guadalupe Church.
Mm-hmm.
It was closed, and he named me all the churches in our neighborhood that were closed. And only Acha's church was the only one open. And over here by Carver, there's tons of churches in our neighborhood. They were all closed. And Acha's was the only one. So he started going to his church. He sat down and prayed, and now he's his helper. But this is a guy who had gotten out of prison. He was bored at his aunt's house, so he walked around the neighborhood, and everything was closed. And the only church that he found one church, and that's how he can remember his church. Can you imagine if Jesus came today?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he would walk around the neighborhood and find the Catholic Church, the Jehovah's Witness. What kind of witness are they giving? What kind of testimony are they giving? Yeah. They're giving the testimony of the one talent.
Yeah, they're hiding their talent in the sand. Okay. Well, yeah, that's we better cut it short, but that was the whole topic. If the JW's Kingdom Halls cannot survive COVID, how will it survive Armageddon?
Yeah. You know what? And here's another thing. We ask these questions. I don't know there's, but at the bottom line, at the end of the day, they think in the supernatural form. They think Jehovah's going to have like a broken mind meld in Star Trek. They think that God's going to have like a force field, and He's going to protect them. But what we're seeing with our own eyes, they couldn't even survive. Their numbers were higher than the worldly average in the people it affected, COVID-19. So there was no protection in COVID-19 for the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Correct.
So, but they're thinking that in Armageddon, and their videos show that Jesus is going to come in the cloud, and that He's going to give them a force field, and they're not going to be affected. You know, they really believe that in their mind, and I think their videos show that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And here's the thing: I hear a lot of people talking about how the Kingdom Hall is going to open, and this is a stretch. I could be wrong because I don't know everything, but just from what I'm seeing, the stitches on the fastball, the Kingdom Halls are over. It's over, and this is why they're a new world religion. Correct. They are going into the 21st century. Mm-hmm. And one of the things we saw was with the rise of nationalism and the Trump rallies, they had to stop it because it was a force so great. I mean, you were having literally tens of thousands of people. And Biden can't even get 20 people in Phoenix. Remember when he was doing the Phoenix rally?
No, I was there by my house on Central Avenue. Zero, not one person. It came on the news, Channel 10. Not one person was in the museum right there, where they had the
And the Coliseum, he filled it until you couldn't fill it anymore, and it was hot. I worked the line, the entry line. But what I'm saying is that they saw the rise of nationalism. They had to put an end to it. The Jehovah's Witnesses being part of the New World Order, they saw the rise of nationalism. They're scared out of their mind. Listen, when the American Revolution and every other revolution started, where did people meet? In the two places that were shut down during the COVID. In the churches and in the bars. So those two places were closed down. The bars were closed and the churches, because they don't want nobody talking to each other. They don't want freedom of association. They are really haunted by freedom of association because that's where nationalism can be preached.
So that's the moral of the story. If you want to survive Armageddon, you either need to go to church or you need to go to a bar, a good bar, not a cheesy ass bar.
Correct.
Yeah.
Here's another thing: the Kingdom Hall too. They don't want it open because when you just talked about the COVID vaccine, they're going to be whispering it to each other. There's no control now. And then you're going to have PMOs with POMOs.
Yeah.
You can't control it. So they don't want the freedom of association. They don't want the Kingdom Halls open because they have no control. So let's say you're in the parking lot talking to another brother. Hey, did you hear John Cedars' video? Hey, did you hear Mike and Kim's video? Did you hear this video? Did you hear that video? And there's always a new YouTuber now.
Yeah, and it's always
they can't have. If they were to open the Kingdom Halls, they won't have a COVID infection. They're going to have a YouTube video infection.
Correct. And you know how it works too. It works with the algorithm. So if you're in Yuma, Arizona, like I am, we're from Yuma, and then I do a video right in Yuma. Well, the Jehovah's Witnesses are looking up at Jehovah's, other witnesses' videos on YouTube. Well, YouTube doesn't know the difference. It doesn't know. It just knows the word Jehovah's Witness. That's all it knows. And so the algorithm says, "Oh, Jesse, you're in Yuma, Arizona. So is Gilbert. And you use the word Jehovah, and he uses the word Jehovah." And so my video would show up on that feed. Because so going back to your point, if you're a person who's speaking out and you say, "You know what, I can't take it anymore. I gotta come clean. I gotta confess. I gotta openly confess my sins and just give it to Watchtower." Okay, and you live in zip code 90210. Well, guess what? Every Jehovah's Witness in 90210 is gonna hear about you because it's gonna show up in the feed. It's weird because I watch a lot of videos on another channel that I have, and a lot of people from Phoenix, Arizona are on my feed. And I'm not subscribing to them or anything, but I know, okay, that's what's happening. It's connecting me with these people. And so that you can't have these people associating because everyone's going to find out that Mary went apostate.
Right. And here's another thing about the history of the Jehovah's Witnesses. In the 50s, there was a word called ne'er-do-well. Ne'er-do-well. We call it nerds.
Yeah.
In the 70s, they were called nerds. The Jehovah's Witnesses have always historically been nerds. They were like the little boy who played jacks. Kind of like in the playground. Remember when you were playing football or basketball with other little kids?
Yes.
And then you looked up on the hill and there was little boys playing jacks with the girls? That's what the governing body was like when they were little boys. They're not. Anthony Morris is not a real man. He played jacks when he was a little kid. His mom dressed him. He was like Waldo in that Van Halen video.
Yeah, he got his ass kicked. Like Shannon Gunderman and Yuma. We were up together. I would hang out with everybody in school, but that fucker was always, a loner.
We're talking about these guys weren't just assholes. Assholes. I remember in the first grade. In the first grade, I remember we were going to the Spanish congregation, and there was this kid named Woody. He was a Jehovah's Witness in the English.
Yeah.
And I was drawn to him because we were in the same religion, even though they were in the English Kingdom Hall and we were in the Spanish. We were segregated back then. But I remember that I didn't want to kick his ass. All the other kids would kick his ass because he was a nerd. He would tell people that Christmas is bad, Halloween is bad. And so what would the kids do? They would naturally beat him up.
Correct.
They would beat him up. So that's the spirit of Jehovah's Witnesses in the United States of America. They're assholes of nuclear proportions, spiritual nuclear assholes.
And now,
so what happens is,
go ahead.
And so what happens is this: they can't help themselves. They have to be different. No. We don't have a church. We have a kingdom hall. That's how much of the assholes they are.
Yeah.
We're not parishioners. We're publishers. They have to be different for everything.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to the Kingdom Hall, no. We're not going to meet in person. We're going to meet in Zoom. They can't help themselves.
Correct.
Now, people are thinking about follow the money, the Kingdom Halls. That's fine. That's great. But I just say, because of their assholeness, just out of sheer assholeness, they will not go back to the Kingdom Hall.
Yeah. Yeah, and these are the people that are now ruling. So, Shannon Gunderman, for example, in Yuma, a big asshole in high school. Nobody, he would eat by himself. He would just a total asshole. But the whole point is now he's in charge of the congregation, and he's ruling it like all of the other assholes in the governing body that got their ass kicked in high school. Now they're in charge. And the same thing that's happening with the Watchtower organization is the same goddamn thing that's happening with the New World Order and with the Washington, D.C. and every fucking government agency. You have all these fucking assholes who couldn't make it in real life. And now, guess what? They're in charge. They're in charge. And they're...
And do you remember the brother you're talking about? When we did the Avenue 5E Hall and you started the contribution fund, and Shannon led the audit. He led the audit from Watchtower against you. Because I remember I was invited to that elder meeting, and I was told specifically that I was not allowed to talk. I could listen because you're my brother. But they didn't want me to defend you or nothing. I was allowed to go, but I wasn't supposed to be talking or asking questions. But after they audited your books, they found a $100 surplus. Did he apologize for that?
No, and they didn't know where the money came from. It was from my pocket. But this is the thing. This is also the reason they were mad. Those motherfuckers were mad because I had already told all the congregations that at the rate that we were going, that Kingdom Hall was going to be, the land was going to be purchased, and in less than 4 or 5 years, we were going to have the whole damn thing paid for without getting a loan. So check this out. I busted my ass. Every single day I would visit a congregation. We had over 15 congregations there. I busted my ass, got that property, and we were on track. I was showing them the monthly reports that we were on track to a 5-year fund. We didn't have to get a loan. Watchtower doesn't want that. They want you to get a loan because they're going to steal that fucking property from you. We're dealing with clusterfucks, stupid-ass people who take loans out from New York City and give their inheritance, give all of their riches to a bunch of fucking losers in New York City. And these people, they're drunk on power. They steal, they're stealing your wealth. And when somebody says, hey, we don't need to get a loan, we can keep the property and have everything for ourselves and have a very low monthly bills. Our cost to have a monthly Kingdom Hall will be very low. No, that's not part of their plan. And those guys are central planners. Those motherfuckers in headquarters of Jehovah's Witnesses are central planners. And their plan is to make sure you're going to get a loan and you're going to pay them for the rest of your fucking life. When somebody else like me says, hey, we can have this, we are on track to have this thing paid off in less than 5 years. The whole thing. Ground and building. And so what happens? Shannon Gunderman, that motherfucker that I went to school with, Jehovah's Witness, who nobody was his friend, wouldn't even go to the fucking high school reunions, asshole. Didn't go to any of our high school reunions, isn't friends with anybody. in the class. That guy is the one that will sell the property to Watchtower, and just all of the money just gets siphoned away. And why? Because he's one of those guys that got his ass kicked when he was in school. And that's just the fat truth. And and do I love him? Fuck yeah, I love him. It's like I told Ezekiel too, Hernandez. I told him, Ezekiel, I'm the only guy that loves you. I told him everybody is against you. I'm the only Jehovah's Witness that loves you. And now that the years have gone by, I see it. I was the only one. Why? Because you have to speak like this. You have to speak like a man. When a man speaks like a man, he's doing it because he loves you. And he's trying to tell you, these motherfuckers are like what King Solomon said in Proverbs chapter 1. They're saying, hey, let's all put our money in the same pot. We'll all share the loot. Share the loot. Fuck you. You want to put all of the money in the same pot like Proverbs 1:14 says because you want to steal from us. And King Solomon said, don't do that. These are he calls these people murderers. King Solomon says that these people are murderers, the ones that tell you, let's all share the money. Not only are they going to steal your money, they're going to kill you. And look what they've done to the Jehovah's Witnesses. They killed them. They killed their spirit. They killed their soul. They killed their will. They even killed them with the kids with suicide. They're fucking murderers, man. So it's not just about stealing the money from the kingdom halls. It's they steal everything. And why? Let's go back to what we said. Because the whole Jehovah's Witness organization in every city is run by a bunch of fucking guys. They're not men, boys, who had their ass kicked while they were in high school. So we shouldn't listen to them. And you know what? I remember when I was first an apostate.
No, you're wrong.
What?
It wasn't in high school. These kids were,
yeah.
These guys were since they were babies, they were neutered.
I know.
We're talking since first grade, since kindergarten, since preschool. These guys were neutered.
Yes.
I'm telling you, I saw it with my own eyes. Like Woody, I don't know Woody's last name. I'm talking almost 50 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him being beat up in the playground because he was preaching about Jehovah's Witness, about Christmas, about all that. I was in the Spanish congregation and I was scared because I thought I'm the next one to get beat up. I wasn't preaching like he was.
Yeah.
We're talking about 5-year-olds telling other 5-year-olds that Christmas is bad, that Jehovah's going to kill them. In a Spanish and black neighborhood, they beat the hell out of that white boy.
Yeah. I know. And just one last thing, when I first came out as an apostate, and you still had family issues, but I came out guns a-blazing. And when I would see a Jehovah's Witness on the street, I tell them, "What the fuck are you looking at, motherfucker?" And at Lowe's or Home Depot. You saw me at your shop. That one Jehovah's Witness elder that slept with his friend's wife and left to Phoenix, Arizona. Yeah, some kind of elder, huh? But when he was a Jehovah's Witness, when he was sleeping around with when he was sleeping with his best friend's wife, and we didn't know it at the time, but he was at your shop, and I told him, I looked at him and I go, "What the fuck are you looking at? What the fuck are you looking at?" And he went all scared and everything. He ran away from me. But and you were like shaking your head because I would do that to all the elders, and I wouldn't do that to a Jehovah's Witness woman. I wouldn't do that to a Jehovah's Witness publisher. But whenever I saw every time I saw a Jehovah's Witness elder, I would tell them, "What the fuck you looking at? You want to throw?" And they would just be like, But you have to tell them that was what I'm saying. You have to tell these people.
I agree because that's what happens to me every day at work and in my life here in Yuma. When I run into an elder, it's confrontation. But when I run into a witness, they say hello. They're very cordial.
Yeah, me too.
Sisters or anybody who's a ministerial servant or below. And most of the pioneers hate me. The pioneers feel jilted because Armageddon hasn't come. They've given their life and they kind of feel cheated. I'm talking about the old pioneers. He has dementia. He's still dressed up for the meetings and stuff, and he's still out there preaching for the streets.
Yeah, but he's preaching the blue book. This Jehovah's Witness is out in the street preaching the life everlasting blue book before the red You Can Live Forever book.
Yeah, crystal proof persuasion.
And that's how bad it is, and that is such a sad story.
Yeah. All right, Gilbert. Well, I better let you know, man.
Yeah, me too. I got to get going.
I'll be thinking about that magazine. Yeah.
All right. Talk to you later.